Oh, and welcome to Self-Represented in Family Court. Your host, Tracey Bee. That's me. So, here we discuss strategies. Yes, strategies and how to use them to get the results you want in family court. If you're self-represented, pro se, pro per, or if you have an attorney and you just need to know what it takes to get through this complex family court system we have, this is the place to be. We discuss strategy. We discuss tactics. We discuss tips and tricks. We discuss techniques. We discuss secrets. We discuss it all. Whatever it takes to get you the strategy that you need, that's it. That's here. That's what we do. So sit back, take notes, and kick ass. Well, hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Self-Represented in Family Court. I'm your host, Tracey Bee, the only pro se family court strategist. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about a game-changing topic. You know what it is? You guessed it. Artificial intelligence and the future of family court. Yes, AI. That is the buzzword across all industries, all platforms. Everybody is talking about AI. You know what's funny? Not that many lawyers are talking about it from a pro se standpoint. That was a little sarcasm, by the way. I don't expect lawyers to talk about anything that's beneficial to pro se. They're talking about it from their perspective, about how lawyers can use it, family law attorneys, corporate attorneys, you name it. But no one is talking to you, the self-represented, about how to use pro se, how to use AI in your pro se case to gain an advantage. Well, that's what I'm talking about. And let me just take a moment to tell you that I have a workshop coming up May 21st, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For $37 for 2 hours, I'm going to talk to you about AI and its proper use and all the challenges and the future of it being used in family court and in family law. And if you want, you can upgrade for an additional $99 to have a smaller discussion about AI in your specific case. Of course, I won't be giving any legal advice, but I have been using AI for the past few months. I've been using it heavily. I've been taking AI courses. I've been doing all the things AI just to be sure I can do this presentation, this podcast, and anything else in the future that I want to center around the use of AI. AI is not going anywhere. Nope, it's actually improving by the second. There's so many advancements in AI that it's unavoidable. You have to join the bandwagon. So, that's what I'm talking about today. And it's not just about tech. It's about you. It's about your case. It's about being empowered by knowing exactly what it takes to ensure that you increase your chances of success in your divorce and or custody case. And AI just happens to be one of the tools that you can use to do just that. And so, as you all know, that's what I want for you. I want you to position yourself, your case, so that you can increase your chances of success, particularly as self-represented or pro se. So, why does this matter? Why am I talking about this? Well, if you've been in family court for even a minute, even a second, or know someone who has, then you know how slow, confusing, emotionally overwhelming, and just flat out unfair family court can be. The process, the experience, the structure, the layout, the key players, every part, every layer of family court can be just a nightmare for you. Especially because you're self-represented. Because no one in family court is coming to your rescue. No one. Not the opposing counsel, not the judge, not the guardian ad litem, no one, not the court staff. No one is coming to your rescue. But you should not despair because, believe it or not, a lot of people are choosing, yes, they're choosing to go the pro se route these days. And one of those main reasons is because, yep, you guessed it, AI. AI is making self-representation so much more feasible, logical, practical, and doable. And yes, I do know some people who have successfully navigated their divorce or custody case by using AI. Don't get me wrong. There are some people who've used it and they use it incorrectly. They use it inappropriately. They use it ineffectively because AI is a tool. It's a tool, people, a tool. It's not going to do the work for you. You are still the driver of your ship, your car, your truck, whatever it is. You're still the driver. So AI is just a passenger that's just navigating, just helping you navigate your way to your destination. And so it's up to you to use it properly. You still have to verify what it spits out. You still have to understand how to ask it particular questions. You still have to understand the ethical implications of using it. You still need to know what the rules are in your specific jurisdiction or with your judge, your specific court, and how they see or perceive the use of AI, and if there are any rules or any laws that pertain to the use of AI. I do know that most judges are requesting, the courts that have actually publicized their position or their stance on litigants using AI, have pretty much said that they do expect that litigants are transparent, even lawyers are transparent about using AI on anything that's actually submitted. So that means if you submitted a document like a petition or a motion or affidavit or declaration or response or opposition, that you let the court know that you did use AI to draft or craft this document. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are not doing that. I know lawyers are not even doing that. But that is pretty much, from my understanding, is what the courts are expecting from you. And understandably so. I'm sure, I haven't found any yet, but I'm sure there will be some best practices released, some standards, some procedural rules, etc., that is going to be released, published, legislated, whatever you want to call it, about AI and its use in family court. And so keep your eye out for that. But if you're in a jurisdiction where that has not happened yet, that does not give you the right or the go-ahead or the green light to use AI, especially when you're submitting a document that was prepared by AI without the court's knowledge. Because you know what? Just as there are so many AI tools out there, there are tools to detect whether or not your content, your petition, your motion, your verbiage in any of those documents have been created by AI. Yes, there are some apps that are doing just that. I mean, because there are platforms now that are punishing content creators in whatever form that content creator comes. There are platforms actually penalizing the creator for using AI, for publishing AI-created documents or content without disclosing. Some, even though you are disclosing, they are just pushing that down. So I use AI. I use AI every day after several years of opposing its use in family court. I use it now every day. But you know what I do? If AI creates a document for me that is 500 words long, about 385 of those words are going to be changed to my liking. I am a strategist. I am a critical thinker. I am always writing, creating strategizing in my brain. So when anything or anybody creates any sort of content on my behalf, it's impossible to mimic my brain. It's impossible to mimic my brain. So no robot, no person is ever going to be able to copycat how my brain functions. So, and although I think AI is brilliant, we can customize it now to sound like us, to think like us. It's still a robot. It's still a machine. And so even though it's gotten used to me, it knows me, I create a few personas on it, I still have to go in and add that human touch, that critical thinking aspect, that emotional aspect, the list just goes on and on. I still feel the need to do that. And so even though I might publish something created by AI, I really use it as a guide, as an outline, and I fill in the blanks. I edit, I omit, I just, by the time it's done, it's, like I said, it's probably 20% AI and the 80% of me, my brain. So, but I know a lot of people are not doing that. People are just copy and pasting, putting it in the document and submitting it to the court as if it's them. And so some, depending on where you are, especially if the other party has an attorney, they can just take that document, upload it to those apps, those plagiarism apps, or those apps that are AI detectors, and they could discern whether or not that content, that verbiage that you used has been created by AI. And what does that mean? Why should you care? Well, because if you do, it sort of diminishes your credibility, right? It sort of makes you a target. It sort of puts you in disfavor or unfavor by the court and all the key players. You don't want that. You do not want that in family court. You don't want any ammunition. You don't want to give them any ammunition to use against you as a means to rule against you. You just don't want to do that. You should be doing the opposite. You should be finding ways to create some favoritism or some favorable outcome or result. And that is by, being on the up and up, trying to be ethical, trying to be transparent, trying to be as professional as you possibly can. Again, I'm not saying that lawyers are always admitting or disclosing when they're using AI, but we're not talking to lawyers. I'm talking to you as pro se. And so I think you should be wary about, whatever the rules are or the expectations are of you when you're using AI. So how much is AI being used in the legal profession? A lot. AI is being used in different areas or different disciplines of law. They're creating documents. They're reviewing documents. They're organizing evidence. I haven't seen many people using it to analyze things. Some people use it to sort of summarize discovery requests, or they're using it to sort of summarize or interpret verbiage that is not common to the layperson. So those are very good uses for it, especially for you as self-represented. But you still need to be made aware of how to use it. Some of the uses of AI. I said drafts documents, petitions, motions, affidavits, discovery responses, motion responses, oppositions, objections. It can help you create arguments. I don't really particularly care about using AI to do that, because your arguments should be based on the other party. Your arguments should be based on whether the other party has an attorney. Your argument should be based on the judge in your case. Your argument should be based on the time of day, the time of year, the issues in your case, whether there are key players in your case. And AI, as great as it is not multidimensional in that respect. And I've been using AI a lot. And I have yet to really see its ability to respond to you in a way that takes all of those key players' positions into account. So if you are trying to come up with an argument against something your opposing party is bringing up, well, then you need to actually be able to interject if there's a guardian ad litem involved, what their position is. Or if there is a therapist or custody evaluator and what their position is. Or if there are reports that you want to get in or the other party wants to get in that raises questions about either position, yours or the other party. See, so it's really difficult to do that. So yeah, you can create a legal argument or argument from a basic level, but I haven't quite seen AI's ability to be multidimensional or multi-angular in that respect. And I don't think that it actually should, because that's where more of the deep dive of strategy comes in at. Strategy is looking at all of those elements and all of those angles and positioning yourself, positioning your case, positioning your evidence based on all of those angles. That's what strategy is. And as great as AI is, I haven't seen it go that deep to do that. And I've not quite mastered how to use AI, but I'm close. And I've tried so many different ways to get it to, to think strategically. And it's gotten better, because I've gotten better with, how I put prompts in, but it's still, there's still some element of human emotion, of human common sense, of human reasoning that's just not included, not available in AI. But it can help you organize your evidence. It can help you create timelines, so it helps you to organize your evidence based on that. It can also help you organize your evidence based on the issues. Again, it's always going to be one-dimensional in that way, right? Because you're going to put in what your evidence is, and you're going to put in what the issues are, and it's going to tell you, it can possibly tell you which of your evidence is actually going to be best for which item or which issue, but it doesn't quite go deeper to actually add in what the opposition position is going to be to whatever your position is, if that makes any sense. But it's still good for like a cursory kind of evidence organization tool. It's also good to help you look at, I haven't quite found anything credible that is produced, but it does help to some degree give you an idea of your specific court or how your court's procedures work or what they are. Sometimes it can tell you who your judge, something about your judge. Again, I haven't found anything that was credible that actually went, on a deeper level, like some of the subscription-based programs that I use for that. I haven't found it to be that in-depth. Don't forget, there are several AI tools, and depending on what your purpose is, you have ChatGPT, you have Claude, you have Gemini. There's so many, and each of them are, have something that they excel at. And I understand Claude is really good at doing research. So is Gemini, but these tools are changing every single day. The one I use most is ChatGPT, because what I realize is that when I use some of the other ones, they won't give me answers. They have real strict ethical guidelines where they won't give me answers to some of my questions. And it will tell me, but it just doesn't feel comfortable answering that question or providing that information. Whereas ChatGPT doesn't do that. ChatGPT is like my homeboy, my homegirl, homeboy, whatever. If they're sex-based or gender-based rather. So it answers me in a way that, my colleague or my crony would answer me. But when it comes to using the other ones, they're just not that cooperative, should I say. But yeah. But I still use them because, like Gemini, I use for research often. It's really good. So is Claude. Claude is really, really good for doing some deep dive research. But again, you have to verify anything that those tools spit out. You have to, especially if you're submitting them in court. You're going to make a fool of yourself if you take anything that AI gives you and go to court relying 100% on it without doing your fact checking or your verifying, you're going to make a fool of yourself. And like I said, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're losing favor in court. So just do that. All right. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. I didn't want to talk too much about AI because of the workshop. The workshop is going to be 2 hours long, 90 minutes of just, theory and some demonstrations. And then I'm going to open it up to a Q&A for half an hour so that people can ask specific questions about what's in the workshop. And then if you're in the VIP, we're going to have an additional 45 minutes where we're going to talk about just AI in your case, how it can specifically enhance your case. We're going to talk about what your problem or your issues are. And we're going to, brainstorm ways that AI, any tool, there are other tools. Those are the few that I mentioned are just a few. There's several tools that do other specific tasks, but we're going to spend 45 minutes talking about just your case, AI tools, AI use in your specific case. We're going to talk about anything you want to talk about with respect to your case in AI. Again, I won't be giving legal advice, but I will be doing a deep dive with people who want to really go into some questions they may have about using it in their case, some glitches, some concerns, some best practices, some useful ways to use it that they haven't thought of. So we're going to do that. We're going to spend 45 minutes doing that. And I'm not going to do the workshop myself. I have somebody who's going to do a portion of it that's going to talk about, more of the background of AI and the current trends and where it's going. And then I'm going to talk about it specifically with respect to family law / family court. So if you want to sign up for that workshop, the link is going to be in my bio. It's going to be a limited seat, so please sign up really, before they run out. It's $37. It's May 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. I will be giving out a couple of worksheets that will help you sort of plot out how you're going to use AI in the future. And I will be doing the VIP where we're going to talk for another 45 minutes. Just the people who are in the VIP, that's limited to 5 people. That's an additional $99. So if you want to sign up, the link will be in the comments in the show notes. So look for it there. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, any comments that you want to share with me about your experience with AI, please feel free to leave me a comment or email me directly at divorcecoachesq@gmail.com. But stay on the lookout for that. Stay on the lookout for some surprises that I have coming up really, really soon. Tune in to the next episode. And until then, take care.
We want to thank you for joining us here at Self-Representing in Family Court, where we discuss all things strategy in family court. Join us next time. Until then, visit us at www.thedivorcesolutionist.com.